5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey Gravity Formers, it's Matt. I just wanted to take a moment and say hello. It's been a while since we've chatted one-on-one. I hope you've been enjoying the range of guests we've had on the podcast at the start of the new year up until this point as we head into mid-March, getting ready for spring. I cannot wait. We've spanned a range of topics for WordPress agency owners, digging into how they use Gravity to serve their customers and build bespoke solutions for them with, of course, Gravity as the framework to that solution. We've gone real deep with AI solutions for Gravity and building on top of Gravity, leveraging AI tools. These are very transformative times for WordPress, Gravity, and of course, web development as a whole. We're all kind of just grappling with how we use this stuff. Is it here to stay? How much of it's here to stay? What's the future hold? It's quite uncertain. One of Gravity's biggest standout advantages, however, is compared to other form plugins, our extensive reach of that third-party developer pool. There are so many folks building things for Gravity Forms. It's truly one of Gravity Forms' biggest advantages. Companies that fall into our certified developer category, like today's guest, Cosmic Giant, and freelancers who are building a host of Gravity Forms upgrades, like twice guest Jonathan Williams, who I chatted with earlier this year. He's building a collection of Gravity Forms add-ons, both, real product-based add-ons and some that are just really helpful utility add-ons. And he's leveraging the power of AI. You can go back to that episode and listen to how he's developing that and what the outlook is for his business. Gravity Forms is a trusted solution, 15 years in business. No other form plugin, heck, few other commercially available WordPress plugins can even say that. And because of that, not only are we the go-to solution for agencies or WordPress developers, it's a great product to build those add-ons that we just spoke on. Be it a plugin-based add-on or a whole SaaS base of services, which I've seen before. People who are building like microsites that are all the content is generated through filling out Gravity Forms, seeing payment portals with Gravity Forms, building out really robust apps, again, with Gravity Forms at the heart of it. It's truly amazing. And if you're doing that right now, if that's you, building these solutions, running these agencies, I want to hear from you. I'd love to feature you on this podcast or chat more about what you're working on. So go ahead, email me, matt@gravityforms.com, subject line podcast guest. Just that way I can filter it. And we can get the ball rolling on that discussion. A few other housekeeping items before we get into today's interview. I launched learn.gravity.com, which is a great new resource for learning more about using Gravity Forms. We've got some great lessons up there from folks like Brian Cords, Amber Hines, Natalie McLeese. Learn.gravity.com. It will also be the home base for all of the monthly webinar content that I and the team produce, along with short form lessons that we put together. So for instance, our webinar on Gravity SMTP is up in the video section of the site. I created a crash course for MailChimp as your newsletter of choice for WordPress. It's a 7-part, 2-minute each fun lesson for you and your clients. But then there's also a longer form webinar that's associated with that series of educational pieces, which goes deeper, more behind the scenes. It's about an hour-ish long, co-hosted with Sarah from the marketing team. These are fantastic resources. We're putting a lot of effort in there, and we're looking for more. We're looking for more great content to put on learn.gravity.com. And if you're looking for something specific, again, shoot me an email, matt@gravityforms.com. And speaking of Gravity SMTP, we're on version 1.8 by the time you're hearing this episode. If you're not using Gravity SMTP, what are you waiting for? Seriously, if you know about it and you're not using it, follow the trend here. Email me, matt@gravityforms.com. If you know about it, maybe you're using something else in its place. Maybe you're afraid to switch from something else. Let's have a conversation. Let's chat. Let's hop on Zoom. Let's talk about what you have to do to learn a little bit more about it and potentially migrate over to it. I'll be happy to show you around, let you know how you can use this for your agency or your business. Gravity SMTP is available for free in your gravityforms.com dashboard. If you're a developer license holder, elite license holder, nonprofit license holder, you have access to it. If you're not a customer of Gravity Forms yet, or you're on the Pro plan, you need to purchase either an Elite license or upgrade your Pro license to Elite. And I will tell you that not only are our competitor form plugins more expensive when compared to our Elite license plans in their year 2 and 3 of ownership, their associated SMTP plugins are also doubling, if not tripling that cost, depending on what license plan you're on with our competitors. Gravity SMTP is free. It's a perfect complement to Gravity Forms because your Gravity Forms are sending out emails and you want those emails to get delivered, right? So there's plenty of email sending services that have free plans depending on the email volume that you're sending. Gravity SMTP just connects up to that and allows you to send those emails through WordPress. Gives you a nice dashboard, gives you a logging mechanism so you can search from this stuff. You can integrate it into alerts into your Slack channel. There's a bunch of other stuff that it does. And it's not just sending the emails from Gravity, but it's also helping you deliver the emails that are going out from your WordPress website. So user password management emails, update emails. If you're running membership software, that's sending emails, that kind of thing. Gravity SMTP is going to help you deliver those emails. And you can toggle and customize this stuff. So you can really fine tune it for your clients. So check it out. Check out Gravity SMTP today or catch the pre-recorded webinar in the learn.gravity.com website. You can watch and see what that's all about. I'll have that linked up in the show notes. Okay? So Gravity SMTP. Don't forget to email me if you want to be on the podcast here. You're working on something really cool. You want to share your Gravity Forms story. Let me know. I'm always hungry for Gravity Forms content. Totally up to have that conversation with you. All right. Owen Stone, welcome to Breakdown.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here.
Head of marketing at our fellow certified developers, Cosmic Giant. I was recording with Travis the other day. I went to edit the recording. There were all kinds of clipping sounds in it. I said, hey, Travis, we got to do it again. He said, I got a better idea. Let's throw Owen into the fire.
Yeah, 3 weeks into the company, and he's like, let me just have you go on the podcast. Actually, it's a great way to meet somebody, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't know each other.
We have no.
I mean, how many dogs, how many kids you got? Like we could spend 3 hours actually getting to know each other. So I've listened to some of the past shows, and your general approach to the idea of the reason you're doing the show is a nice caveat and a nice space to be in. So if I fail miserably, we can blame it on the brains, Travis.
Yeah.
And if it's successful, then you and I get the credit.
So let's talk about you for a little bit and your past experience. This is just an audio podcast. You and I are looking at each other through our cameras. You have a nice setup. Travis also said that you have experience podcasting. So where is your background from? Did you have your own podcast? Have you done this before?
So I do have my own podcast. I have multiple podcasts. I'm on networks. I was on TV last week locally, which was really awesome. I've been doing shows for way too long. I've known Travis for way too long. It's one of those things where, like, I was listening to one of your other shows, and you just start thinking about, like, oh, when was the first time I used WordPress? Or I was building websites on Flash, and I was making Flash applications on MySpace with my roommate. And I remember when WordPress came out, when we found it in like 2006 or 7, and we were like, oh my God, Flash is dead, but look at this. This is amazing. Like, it felt like just the whole world had changed because it was so much easier than what we were doing before. So I've been at this and podcasting for a long time. I do a couple of sports shows. I've tried to get back into tech. Like, I used to go on Twit all the time as a contributor. Tech burns me out because there's always something new. There's always something better. And it doesn't ever seem to get better, if that makes any sense.
Total
so,
sense.
I still, even though we have all these applications, and I love a lot of them, and I use them, and dude, I've got $100,000 worth of gear in this room, but when I have meetings, I still have a pen and pad next to me. Like, and I know it sounds funny, but I'm like, I know the recording's on. I know I can spit it into AI or put it into something, but there's something tangible about being able to write down what's going on in certain moments. And other times I find that, like, AI could have saved me a lot from the way I used to do things. So Yeah, I've been in the game for a long time. The podcasting stuff is more for fun for me. Is to get my creative juices out and to stay up on what trends are going on when I'm doing marketing for other people. It's so hard for me to sell myself. It's easy for me to sell other people.
Yeah.
Like if I wasn't working for myself, I'd be a bajillionaire. You know what I mean? But like selling somebody else is so much easier to say, oh, this company's great. This person's great. Saying yourself, when you try to tell people you're great all the time, I feel like you sound like a weirdo. So it's hard.
CosmicGiant.com, entry automation 6.0 now available. That's what Travis threw you up on stage to chat about.
Yes.
Entry automations is something that, well, it's version 6. So it's been a while. It's been around for a while. But what do you think makes 6.0 the home run success? Like what is putting 6.0, the 6.0 tag on it? What's big feature or big use case that somebody can take away from entry automation?
So the thing that I find the most interesting, again, I'm new to the space, but for me, the membership data management and the event registration, there's a lot of things that go on with event registration that on a lot of sites, people don't know that they can have a better system in place. There's so many, like, I'll give you a perfect example of, without telling about it because it's political and I don't want to get into politics. You have a website, you sign up, have people sign up for an event, and they can game that event. If you have competition or a competitor who doesn't like you, they can just log onto your site and fill out endless applications and say, oh, you've got 100 people showing up. 2 people show up and you're like, well, we didn't verify them. We don't know who's going on. We don't know who's actually coming. And then you're sitting there in an event where you might have capped it at 100 people. And you only have 2 real people showed up because it got capped. So for me, a lot of our products that deal around event registration and checks and balances, that's what I really find interesting, and it's actually going to help people. There's obviously different things for different people. The client onboarding is interesting, and everything's just being updated and fresh. But the event stuff and the data management, the membership management is really important to me.
Yeah. I know Travis in the episode that will never be released because it's broken, also liked the multiple form extension, which comes in 6.0. And this is something where you can take multiple entries from multiple forms and I guess merge them into, let's say, one output. So it can be PDF, an Excel sheet, JSON file if you're processing it through something else.
Unified CSV.
Yep. These are things where you really think of, customers that might be using Gravity Forms for, like, I guess where my head goes with something like that is like a sales organization, right? You have multiple landing pages with multiple Gravity Forms, and this is all like sales related stuff. And, now you can take all of that sales lead data, and while you optimized it for each individual Gravity form, now you can take all of those and say, okay, sales team, here's the entire list from all of these Gravity forms that we have on our site. Go run with it, or like split it up. One salesperson gets this half, the other salesperson gets that half. That's just a very sort of raw way of looking at it, but that kind of combining of data, I think, is super important. It's a nice little flagship feature for the tool.
And when it comes down to it, you have so much information coming at you. Again, everybody wants to try to simplify everything with AI and have it do things for you. But if you can actually have mechanisms in place that can parse it out, why not do that from the jump so you don't have to worry about things falling through the cracks? I feel like when you don't have control, there's a lot of things that you'll miss out on. And it's nice that these features that we're offering give you more control on what you want to do with your information and your data.
Yeah. Put you on the hot seat just for a moment. Have you talked to any of the Cosmic Giant customers yet who are implementing these? Are they agencies? Are they freelancers? Are there ways that you can look at this new version and say, yeah, this is good for an agency. Here's how an agency can serve a client with this stuff. Have you been exposed to that yet, or you have any use cases for that?
So I technically do not. And it's one of the biggest things that I want to get deep into with clients, because I find, again, being new to the Gravity Form space in general, I find that there's so many companies that use your service And for the most part, when you build it right, you don't ever have to talk to them. You might get a support ticket or something goes wrong. But for the most part, people sign up, they use your service, and they're out there doing amazing things. And that's why we have a nonprofit program right now where they sign up and they're the way that they sign up, we know who they are and what they're using it for. So I'm reaching out to them to get like the case study so I can find information. We're going to be doing surveys to like get information from people so I can know how they're using it. We're looking at the information, and people are using the heck out of it. But I want to know who they are and what they are. So right now, I you can put me. I'm going to fry this hot seat because I don't have an answer. And Travis, you can yell at me all you want to. Yeah. I know he would have one or two answers for that, but like that's one of my big things. I want more real world use case studies, and we're gonna go out and get those from people because again, people love the product. If they're not complaining, that means they love it. That means it's working. So we want to reach out to them and get more use case studies for that.
Yeah. If I know Travis, he's listening right now with his pen and paper going, okay, Owen doesn't know this. And he's writing it down. But that's okay, Travis. He's only 2 weeks on the job. Yeah. Like we're going to figure it out.
And he knows that I don't know. That's why he put me here, for the fun part of that. So he could poke the bear a little bit. But that's one of the first things I was like, man, we really need to know. And he's like, well, stuff doesn't break usually, which is it's a good, bad problem to have because you know how hard it is to even get people to show up for a podcast or to commit to a time slot to something. They're busy running their business. And you're like, well, just tell me how your business is running. I can help you. I can promote you too. So it's one of those things that, we're going to get deep in and developing those relationships with our customers.
One of the advantages that Gravity Forms has, and this is my way of influencing you through this podcast, is it's been around for 15 years, right? Very, very few, if any, WordPress products can even say that, right? I mean, Yoast might be another, and WooCommerce might be like on its tail in terms of like longevity, but what that has led to is an amazing trust factor, rightfully so, from WordPress agencies and freelancers, right? A lot of folks using Gravity Forms have literally been using it for over a decade to help build their business. And that trusted piece of software is critical in the age of like AI. Yeah, I can go and build something in minutes. Like I might be able to make a contact form in AI and embed it on a WordPress website, but that only solves it for that moment. And then no one's taking care of that anymore. It's certainly not me. And I'm not going back to AI to be like, hey, that random form I put on this page over here, can you bug check it, a security patch it and all this other stuff? It's not happening. With Gravity Forms, the team and the agencies who have been in this game for a long time know that we're putting out great software, which leads me to Cosmic Giant. And what your role will probably lead into is talking to these agencies and uncovering how they're making money, right? How they're either making money with the software with that Cosmic Giant and Gravity Forms are putting out together, or how you're finding like efficiencies through your software, right? Electronic signature signings and PDFs, entry automation, all of this stuff. Agencies, freelancers using this stuff are finding great advantages, I guess, at the end of the day, compared to other form builders that are out there who aren't even touching half the stuff that we do combined.
And just take legal signing, for example. I know that we have hired lawyers to write our copy so that it's compliant with America and the EU. And yeah, you can go to AI and ChatGPT and say, spit me out a legal form. That doesn't mean it's legally binding and compliant for your region and or country. So sometimes you do need a human eye on that knows and is current, up to date with what's going on. And that security you're talking about is the thing that we all provide, because we actually are doing the due diligence to make sure that you are secured on your side. You don't just sign up and use and say, okay, fine, you can sign these legal documents here. And then 5 years later, you show up in court, you're like, well, you just signed a thing on the internet. Like, it doesn't mean anything.
Signed a thing on the internet.
You didn't check anything. There's no terms of cert. Like, you know what I mean? So those things I find, again, when you're talking about being trusted, we're putting into work, you guys are putting into work, and it does hold value. It means something because it matters.
Yeah. the world of freelancing, again, like agency and freelancers, people are starting to look at, we were talking about earlier, like tech, you can get kind of burned out from it, right? Like running an agency, running a freelance business. I did that for a decade, running an agency. It's not an easy game. And once you get to a certain point, you're just like, man, I am done with this stuff. And if I was running an agency today, you might look at the efficiencies of AI, and certainly there are definitely some advantages that can help you. I think what we'll see is people will start to use AI and be like, oh, that was cool. Like I can build this thing, but I might as well just go buy, Gravity Forms for $250 a year, Cosmic Giant for X amount of price, depending on which bundle you're buying from Cosmic Giant, and just be done with it. And I think that's one thing that we haven't, like that pendulum hasn't swung yet, because I think everyone's in doing the AI stuff now going, oh, look, it's awesome. I can build this all myself. But then what they're not realizing is they're spending hours doing it. I know I am, and I'm quasi-technical. Like I'm spending hours building these cool things that developers can do like in 2 minutes. So why not just buy the ready-made piece of software that's trusted and built, done for you, and then spend your AI, tokens doing something else instead of like trying to build the software for it.
I absolutely love AI. I don't want to come on here sounding like I'm the old man yelling at the cloud. I love technology. I love AI, but I also understand that the system is only as good as you are. So the better you become at the prompt, the better you become at asking the right question. Sure, like you said, we can go on here and I can build an app and I can get it to make an app. Now, when it comes to bug fixes like that, I can go back to ChatGPT and say, oh, here's the bug. Can you fix it? There are some things that even a computer can't figure out what to fix. And it's one of the most minute, small things. You've done it in your life in any kind of technology, in anything in life. You're trying to screw in a light bulb and it doesn't work. And you're like, this is a light bulb. I've screwed one in 1,000,000 times. And you walk away for 5 minutes. You walk back. This conversation we started, my audio cut out for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, no reason at all.
I opened the setting to go change the audio and my audio came back on. Now, is ChatGPT going to figure out to tell me to do that? It is not, because sometimes you just got to figure it out yourself. So I do love the tools. I love it for inspiration. I love it for fact checking. I love it for challenging my thoughts and views. Again, me just getting into the space, I've gone to all the competitors. I'm reading blog posts. I'm looking at keywords. I'm looking at how many times people are posting. And then I go and spit it into ChatGPT, or I spit it into one of the analytic programs. And I'm like, okay, well, this is saying this. Google says that. Your traffic says this. And if they all merge together and they're real, then I can trust the AI stuff, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes you can't trust it because it's either pulling old information, it's not scraping the pages you want. So again, I love it, but a lot of people are just all in, and it's like, that's a really lazy way of doing your business. You've got to have some touch spots around there. And again, that's why I like the products that we offer and we service, because they're right to the point. They are what you need. Like you said, sometimes you get what you pay for, and you just don't have to worry about it. And if you do have to worry about it, we got a great support staff over here, and I'm sure you guys do too, to help people out when they need it.
CosmicGiant.com, Entry Automation 6.0, now available. You can check that out. Link in the show notes, CosmicGiant.com.
Just celebrating our 8th year anniversary.
That's right, 8th year. I think the day Travis and I recorded was the 8th birthday. He was very excited about that. Maybe I'll play that clip if that's safe and the audio is not broken from that recording. CosmicGiant.com, Entry Automation 6.0. Check it out. You said you did some sports podcasting as well. I assume that's covering all things Boston Celtics, New England Patriots, Boston Red Sox, and Boston Bruins.
So, as the enemy of the state, 100%. Something if that's your jam, every woman in my life that comes across my path, friendship or relationship, my daughter, her friends, the one thing I teach them is F Tom Brady. I say the whole thing.
Oh man!
So I've got a legion of women that don't even watch sports.
Yeah.
But if I point to them, they'll say that. They'll know that's the one thing that they know going out into the world, because that whole dynasty. We got our payback finally, but that was just rough to deal with, and the Celtics. Whew, my dad was a Sixer and a Laker fan, so right. I'm backed up against that. So you guys got a lot of rings up there. So there's a lot of jealousy,
a lot of rings, a lot of hardware.
Yeah.
Which NFL team is yours? Which football?
Eagles. We're Philadelphia.
Okay.
4-4.
Congratulations.
So, yeah. Well, I just got another ring, so I'm happy about that. Tom Brady was in attendance.
So doesn't matter. You probably would have beat him because of last time. But yeah, it was hard to root for the Chiefs, and I unfortunately had to want the Eagles to win.
Well, that's good. So now we can really be friends again. A definitely interesting way to meet someone in the space. Can I ask you a question?
Sure, go for it.
So when you're talking about how long you guys have been in business and the trust that's been built up, what is the one challenge that you find in this space trying to introduce people to what you do?
So like in Gravity Forms specific, or like people trying
Gravity Forms specific.
Yeah. So, I don't think it's a particular challenge, because I think what people understand is they need, I think for the most part, whether it's an end user, like, hey, I'm just building a WordPress site and I need somebody to contact me. I think for the most part, people understand like the basic concept of a form for contact. The biggest challenge is introducing them to how to grow that experience, right? It's pretty easy. A little behind the scenes on breakdown for you. So it's pretty easy for me to frame it for an agency, because as somebody who ran an agency, it's a stair step. So you start with, let's say, Gravity Forms basic license, $59 for a year. You just say, I just need to be able to put contact forms on my website and customer website. Pretty easy. And then as an agency owner, as you get more experience, you start to get bigger and better clients. That next tier is like, well, maybe we need donations, and maybe we need to grow an email list. So you get Gravity Forms Pro license, and that in the middle has, payment processors, all the email marketing stuff. And you're like, okay, this makes sense. As my business grows, so does Gravity Forms needs. And then as you get the bigger and best clients, you get the bigger and best version of Gravity Forms for $259 a year, which has all of the add-ons, all of the functionality, and you start to do things like, I'm building membership solutions for my customers. I have similar like automation add-ons. I have custom post type add-ons. I am now building bespoke solutions using Gravity Forms, and that's an efficiency layer for agencies. Agency could say, well, I might charge $1,000 to build this kind of functionality, but you know what? Gravity Forms does this, and I just need to spend 10% of time custom coding it up for my client. And they can rely on the Gravity Forms framework, if you will, and still be super profitable in their business. So on the agency side, a lot easier to stair step that understanding of what Gravity Forms can do, then introduce them to the world of certified developers like Cosmic Giant, like Gravity Wiz, like Gravity Kit, and so many others. And for the user side, it's always a challenge of like tech. Like, here's how you can get an email newsletter subscribed through Gravity Forms. That one's a little bit more challenging, a little bit more time consuming for the average user.
Well, that was a perfect answer, and it made me feel better, because that was my way of thinking. Because it's one of those situations, like even just having conversations with other people, it's like, so let me sell you on why you need a car. You need a car. It comes down to which car is best for you. Like, I don't need to sell you on needing a vehicle. You live in a farm, you're 15 minutes away from anything, you need a car.
Yeah.
It really comes down to me explaining to you why this car, a truck versus an SUV versus a sports car, would work for you. So it's just a different way of marketing and selling a product that people actually need, as opposed to trying to inform them on why they need it. Like you need something, and we're out here trying to support that. So that's why that was a trick question for me, just so I could feel better about the way that I'm looking at things.
Well, I also
being a newbie.
I also sold cars for most of my life too. So there's that.
There you go.
Yeah, but I think this is actually still a relevant topic to the podcast, where there are a ton of options, right? There are a ton of options for contact forms. There's contact forms for free that you can get from WordPress.org. There's premium plugins like Gravity Forms, and I won't name my competitors, but there are competitors out there. And then there's the hosted ones, right? Like a Jot form or something like that. And they all have whatever their checks and balances, and or their positives and negatives, I should say. And I think that in today's world, The human side has to shine. The trust factor has to shine. Like when we talk about like what AI is going to do, I have a lot of folks in my like business community who are like, well, this is all over. Like all our jobs are gone. Right? Like no one's going to read, listen, watch anything from a human anymore. It's just going to be all AI driven. I tend to think that, okay, that might happen. There might be like a 2-year cycle where that happens. And you just see AI ads everywhere and everyone's just doing that. But you know what happens eventually? The human side comes back out again, right? Just like you haven't gotten rid of your pen and paper. Paper in books still exist. I remember 20, 30 years ago and they were like, internet's here, books are gone, right? And I was like, oh, that has not happened, right? So there's still hope for us, I should say.
There's absolutely hope because just in like, when I was talking to Travis and we're talking about how we use fillable PDFs and things like that. And you talk about, again, trying to get case studies for things. We were just searching up how many people are using them. Someone was putting out 2,200 an hour. We're like, what are they? I got to talk to them. Like, what are they building that they're pumping out that many an hour? Like something's going on. There's traffic there. You want to reach out to those people. You want to talk to them. When I watch these ads half the time, I'd rather read an ad anymore than watch the fake lips on a robotic person because it hasn't, as good as it is, again, it's not as good as you think it is. So when you go to YouTube or you go to Reddit or you go anywhere, it's like, because I want to see a person explain to me what's going on. I want to see the frustration in somebody's face on TikTok when their system is broken down and they're trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, again, if you're in the middle of the night and you want to go to a customer support for a company, sometimes you can't get a hold of somebody. You could go on the internet and go into a chat room, put your question out there, and sometimes you might get lucky and somebody might beat your support staff. So that real human connection matters. And again, they haven't had anybody in a full-time marketing position here. And that's why I'm excited to be here so I can go out and shake as many hands and kiss as many babies as I can and make everybody happy and know that we're not just out here giving good support, but we're actually trying to grow and help other people with their businesses too.
Owen Stone, he'll shake your hand so long as you're not wearing a number 12 Brady jersey. Thanks for hanging out today. It was great to get to know you. And I look forward to having you on the podcast in the future.
I'll come back when I know everything and I can put Travis to shame.
That's it for today's episode. If you could do one more thing for me today, share this episode on social media, your favorite Facebook group or Discord channel. Spread the word about this podcast. It really helps. If you haven't added Breakdown to your favorite podcast app, point your browser to gravityforms.com/breakdown and click the icon of your app to add us and listen to us every 2 weeks. Okay, we'll see you in the next episode.